Hi, welcome to the inaugural episode of For My Money, starring me, Kyle Merritt, in my humble abode here, where we're going to talk about wrestling. Namely, we're going to talk about the TLC pay-per-view that is going off tonight. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. This is going to be a little bit painful for me. I was out late last night singing Christmas carols, so kind of running on empty as far as my voice is concerned, and I'm sure as painful as it's going to be for my friends, it's going to be even more painful for me to go through this. But nonetheless, I had a good talk with one of my friends, and upon deliberating and picking our brains about who was going to be doing what at the pay-per-view tonight, we decided it was time to unveil the first ever For My Money. So the first match that I'm going to talk about tonight is the four-way tag team match that they just announced on SmackDown this past week for the WWE Tag Team Championship. The match includes the current champions Cody Rhodes and Goldust versus Big Show and Rey Mysterio. Don't know how in the hell they ever came up with that combination. As well as I want to say the Real Americans and Ryback. So we've got a four-way match. To be honest with you, this could really go anyway. Cody and Goldust are inevitably going to lose those titles anyway, and as far as I'm concerned, they're going to start imploding on themselves, so the sooner the better. And I don't know, I kind of think Ryback here. The Real Americans definitely have a good shot. Albeit Zeb Coulter has kind of been their mouthpiece, and I really don't think that they need it. And Cesaro has things going pretty well with that Cesaro swing. He's over with the crowd, and Big Show and Rey just kind of seems like a stupid combination, and it just seemed like they needed to do something with Rey Mysterio, and they just figured, hey, might as well put him with the Giant and do this whole David and Goliath kind of thing. Which is a little bit overdone, but oh well, they need something to do with Rey Mysterio so they can keep selling merchandise. Next match is AJ Lee versus Natalya. Again, they could go either way with this. They've been building up Natalya for some time now, but for my money, I would really like to see AJ Lee retain this title here. Not because I'm necessarily this big, huge AJ Lee mark by any stretch of the imagination, but I just simply do not like Natalya one bit. I think it really escalated a little bit more once the Total Divas show came on the air. Particularly, they had this episode recently where Natalya had just one of her dogs or cats or whatever had just gotten sick, and she's going crazy and going nuts and crying and bemoaning like this was her child or one of her family members, and here come to find out she had 2 or 3 other pets that were still living in her house. So yeah, not a big huge Natalya fan, and I hope that AJ wins. Next match is Big E Langston versus Damian Sandow for the Intercontinental Championship. I can see here with this whole babyface ascension for Big E Langston, where one person might say that Big E needs this match here much more than Sandow does, but for my money, I think that Sandow should go over here, and here's why. Sandow had a nice push, becoming the Money in the Bank winner, and that was obviously cut short and never really materialized because he had to job out to John Cena just after Cena won the World Heavyweight Championship. So I think Sandow basically has proven his allegiance and proven that he can be a big-time player, and with the title unification match coming up later on in the card, there just doesn't really seem like a good opportunity for Sandow to implant himself in the world title picture. So it just kind of makes sense if you were to put the Intercontinental title on Sandow for right now. he would at least be able to have something and add to his character, and they would still be able to give him airtime, which inevitably I think that he deserves and is necessary so that the character doesn't completely fall flat on its face. So Damien Sandow, good choice. Next we're going to kind of talk about the handicap matches that they have going on, and I'm sure there's a lot of people in the internet wrestling community that are not a big fan of this. Definitely don't think that Daniel Bryan should be facing 3 people and that CM Punk should be facing 3 people, but I kind of don't agree with that. I like the twist that they're going on here because I'm a big fan of the Shield. I like the Wyatt family. First of all, CM Punk versus the Shield. I think it's a win-win, whether you have Punk go over here or you have the Shield go over. To be honest with you, I think that CM Punk is actually going to go over, even though the odds are stacked against him. They've been sort of planting this little seed over the last couple weeks that there's some dissension between Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, and it just kind of seems like the cracks are being set into place for the Shield to break up sometime soon, whether it be at WrestleMania or shortly after. It's going to happen. Inevitably, Roman Reigns is going to have some babyface push coming in the near future. And, the Shield has been around for a little over a year. It's been effective, and rather than it get stale, I think they figured that they can just break them up now, and maybe with the opportunity down the road, a la DX or NWO, where they can bring the Shield back together. So, yeah, I see Punk going over here. However, with the Wyatt family versus Daniel Bryan, I personally think that the Wyatt family is going to go over here, only because they haven't been around quite as long as the Shield has, and they really could still stand to benefit from getting the nod over Daniel Bryan, and it wouldn't really make Daniel Bryan look all that weak, obviously because the odds are stacked against him. Bottom line with both of these matches, they definitely were trying to stall out the need for Daniel Bryan and CM Punk to be involved in the title picture, so the best likely solution to that was put them with the Shield, put them with the Wyatt family, buy a little bit more time before the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania so that they could have their unification match, and CM Punk and Daniel Bryan didn't necessarily have to be involved in the middle of it. So with that being said, I want to now talk about the main event and the main reason for me putting together this little video clip here. The WWE Unification title match between Randall Keith Orton and John Felix Anthony Mario Lopez Cena III. Just kidding. No Saved by the Bell in there. There's some honest to goodness ideas on either side for this match. I've heard some good arguments for Randy Orton going over. I've definitely seen the writing on the wall, and that they're giving every inclination for people to believe that John Cena is going to go over here. I think Cena, of the two, could stand to benefit the most from being the first WWE unified heavyweight champion. Of course, they're calling it unified instead of undisputed champion. And if you think back to when they did this with Chris Jericho the first time, I want to say that was December of 2001, if I'm not mistaken. It's been about 12 years. They had 4 people involved in that match. Kurt Angle, Steve Austin, which inevitably Chris Jericho beat to become the champion, and then The Rock, which Jericho beat in the semifinal match. Of the 4, Chris Jericho was really the only one that absolutely needed to become the undisputed champion. Kurt Angle, Steve Austin, and The Rock basically have already made their bed as far as being Hall of Famers, being in the world champion tier of the business. But Chris Jericho in 2001 really wasn't quite there, so it was necessary for him to be given that additional platform. And now, 13 years later, or 12 years later, Chris Jericho is a household name as far as I'm concerned. He's got Fozzy. He's a main event wrestling superstar, and as he will tell you himself, he is the best in the world at what he does. So, like I said, John Cena, Randy Orton. John Cena, Randy Orton. For my money, I think that the first WWE Unified World Heavyweight Champion should be none other than Triple H. Here's why. They've been building this match up with Stephanie and Triple H in the middle of it all along. They were basically doing the plotting and planning with Cena at Survivor Series and planting seeds there. And even during this contract signing and various other things that they've done in the ring, Cena, Orton, Triple H, and Stephanie have all been right wedged in the middle. And every time, basically, that Stephanie would discuss with the audience, okay, these were past World Heavyweight Champions, these were past WWE Champions, she always conveniently and very strategically put Triple H's name right in the middle of it. Ergo, if you're the WWE and your main reason for having this match, I know it's because it's right before the holiday and they want to be able to increase their buy rates and have something that's actually a draw for people right around the holidays who are spending, more money than at any other point during the year because of Christmas and Hanukkah and every other holiday they want to throw at you. Why not put together a unified title match that's going to encourage people to want to watch it? But at the same time, you want people to watch Raw the next night. And there's definitely going to be some fans that would be alienated if John Cena were to be the unified champion. And not to say that they wouldn't go that route anyway, but if they were to give it to Triple H in some type of a screw job or a corporate hostile takeover fashion, I think that it would really, really encourage people to want to tune into Raw the next day and see exactly what's going to be the fallout. And you have to consider in the back of your mind as well Daniel Bryan, because he's already said basically he wants to be the first one to challenge for the Unified Championship. And if Daniel Bryan were to get himself into some type of feud with Triple H going into Royal Rumble or even WrestleMania, that would definitely have a long history to it, with the whole B-plus player and Stephanie and Triple H persecuting and keeping Daniel Bryan down. So, you heard it here, folks. If you happen to be watching the TLC pay-per-view later on tonight and you see Triple H just climb his little ass up that ladder and pick off both the WWE Championship and World Heavyweight Championship and just hold it up in front of all of the disapproving fans, whether it be in the internet wrestling community or in the capacity audience, Triple H now and forever will be the first ever WWE Unified Heavyweight Champion. So, with that in mind, please show me your support so that I can continue this channel. You can subscribe to my Twitter feed at Kyanthi, that's K-Y-I-N-T-H-I, Kai like Kyle, In like Indeed, and Thai like Thai food. I guess there's one other thing to say. Oh yeah, indeed.